Hey everyone, it is late at night and I'm Norman. Tonight I'm doing an op-ed on the latest news in the watch world. So let us begin. This just in, one of the big heavy watch nerd channels has just been rebranded. I'm speaking about Bark and Jack, which is now called Adrian Bark. So what do I think of that? Honestly, the name always confused me because I didn't realize that it was named after a brand. I assumed it was kind of a reference to like a pet dog or something like that. I think it was a smart move because I think that if you're going to make a channel that is associated with a company, that connection should be kind of central to your channel. For example, Watchfinder & Co. When you watch their videos, you know it's not just another watch review video. Just another. Who says just another about Watchfinder & Co? That is an absolutely brilliant channel. But when you're watching their videos, you know that you're watching videos from a watch reseller. You know that it's associated with a company. And Adrian's going after that more personable, sit down and chat with a friend type of vibe, which is awesome. In fact, when I first started watching watch nerd videos, it was old Urban Gentry videos that I would watch, and it was really cool. After you watch a video, you go away from it feeling like you just got off of a Zoom call with a buddy or something. Now, my only advice that I would give as just a lowly YouTuber talking to like one of the biggest watch nerd channels out there is to, if you're gonna do that personable thing, make sure to keep your production as invisible as possible. So people like Adrian and TGV and stuff are like super good at their production and their lighting and everything. But if that gets carried away, like for example with the Urban Gentry after the whole Watchbox thing, where he was given all kinds of access to cameras and any watch that he wanted, I mean, I would do it too. I would go totally crazy with the production stuff and just go nuts because you can. But then all of a sudden you're getting different camera angles. At one moment he's talking to you like a buddy, but then it flips over and now you're seeing the side of him and he's talking to someone else. It breaks out of that whole suspension of reality that you're just sitting and chatting with a friend. And I think that recently the Urban Gentry's kind of gone back to its roots, and it kind of does feel like the old style, even though the production quality is much higher. He just puts that into like B-roll and stuff like that. So he's still hanging out chatting with you, but then showing great footage of the watches that he's discussing. That's a cool approach. And so far I think Adrian's level of production is nice and invisible. It doesn't break that so much. So, but I would caution about going too far with production so that it gets distracting. But yeah, I think that was a great move. And I love that format of just hanging out and chatting. I mean, I wish I could do that. I'm not so good at just sitting there and conversing in front of a camera. With a friend face to face, I could talk for hours about watches, but when you actually have to be entertaining, it's good for me to have an outline or a script or something, as this video is demonstrating. Next up in the news, there are moon swatch fakes. Man, that took long enough. So I like Average Joe's point about these fake moon swatches, that people need to watch out because they're going for right now about $20 on AliExpress, and people could turn around and sell those on eBay, where in photos and stuff they might look like the real deal. But I'm imagining he paid $1 for his. Right now the cheapest I've seen is 20, and I imagine that when you see them in person it's pretty obvious that they're fake. They've got to be just crappy, even compared to the moon swatches. But if you're selling them on eBay, it could be convincing, and until that person gets it in their hands, and then they realize that they've got ripped off. And so then it's a whole nightmare of dealing with all of that. So it's a valid concern, and for a hot minute, I almost thought about getting one just to see what a moon swatch is like in person. I haven't yet, but Maybe at some point, just to know. I don't foresee myself spending the money to get one of those anytime soon. I'll just stick with my classic Swatch Gent pieces. Christopher Ward has just come out with the 36mm line of watches. What do I think about that? That is cool, because these are kind of explorer-ish pieces, and that size is perfect. That's part of the magic that makes the Explorer so phenomenal. That 36mm case size with the really wide 20mm lugs. I mean, it has its own look because of those dimensions. And it's really cool seeing Christopher Ward do that with their sizes. Like the Sandhurst was a brilliant field watch, but it was so large that it kind of lost the magic of a field watches. I feel like field watches are more comfortable in smaller sizes, but I am glad that there are larger options for people. So the Sandhurst was great, and it was a beautiful looking field watch. A little bit too dressy to be field watch, really. So maybe more like a fieldish Explorer style, because the Explorer is kind of dressy too, right? So these watches are pretty cool, and they're available in all kinds of different colors, bright colored dials and everything. And I think those are limited editions, but they have a black and a white one, and those are going to be permanent. Also in the news, apparently Seiko is reviving their King Seiko line. So I had read an op-ed about these watches, and the author was bemoaning that some of them have dates on them. And the original line was no date. And their suggestion was to do the date ones as permanent fixtures and then do a limited edition no date variant. What do I think about that? I actually don't think a whole lot about that, but it did get me thinking about design. As I was looking at the pictures of these watches, they look great. And I thought to myself, design is king. It really is. We talk about the amazing brilliance that go into our watches and the innovations and stuff, but in the end, it is all about design, because that's what we see, that's what pushes us over the line to hit that buy button. So watch designers, remember that. You may have this brilliant, unique idea, but in the end, it is all about the design, no matter how brilliant the insides are or how unique your idea is. It has to be designed well. And that's all I've got. Thanks for watching.